Most people spend their entire lives climbing a ladder that leans against the wrong wall. They think the ultimate finish line is a bank account with 10 zeros, a private jet on a tarmac in Teterboro, and a name etched into the side of a glass skyscraper. We've been conditioned to believe that billionaires represent the pinnacle of human achievement. But if you look at the long arc of history, you'll realize something unsettling. Net worth is one of the most fragile forms of legacy. In 100 years, your wealth will be liquidated or diluted. In 200 years, the companies you built will likely be case studies in a textbook or footnotes in a bankruptcy filing. In 500 years, your name will be a trivia question that nobody can answer. So, if billionaires aren't at the top of the food chain, who is? Today, we're going to deconstruct the 5 levels of mastery and legacy. We're going to look at why the world's richest people are often stuck in a gilded cage at level 3, and what it actually takes to reach the level where your influence doesn't just survive time, but defines it. If you've ever wondered why some names like Aristotle or Da Vinci carry more weight than the wealthiest merchants of their eras, this is for you. Let's start at the foundation. Level 1, the legacy of craft. This is the stage of the practitioner. At this level, your legacy is built by the calluses on your hands or the precision of your mind. Think of the master carpenter, the elite coder, or the surgeon who performs a procedure no one else can. Here, your reputation is your currency. People know you for what you can do. The problem with level 1 is that it's entirely dependent on your physical or mental presence. If you stop working, the legacy stops growing. Most people never move past this stage because they become addicted to the praise of being the best in the room. They are the big fish in a small pond. But notice something, we don't remember the name of the best stonemason who worked on the Great Wall of China. We remember the wall. To move up, you have to stop being the tool and start being the architect. Level 2, the legacy of systems. This is where most successful business owners live. You've moved from doing the work to building the machine that does the work. This is the stage of the entrepreneur. Your legacy isn't your skill. It's your organization. At this level, you create jobs, you solve market inefficiencies, and you build wealth. You're no longer trading time for money. You're trading vision for equity. This is a massive leap, but it's also where the first trap appears. Most people at this level get caught in the pursuit of more for the sake of more. They mistake scale for significance. They think that if they grow their company by 20% every year, they are becoming more immortal. But look at the Fortune 500 list from 1955. Nearly 90% of those companies are gone. Systems are replaceable. Products become obsolete. If your entire legacy is built on a business model, your legacy has an expiration date. You're successful, yes. You're wealthy, absolutely. But you're still playing a game where the rules are written by someone else. Pause for a second and think about the last 3 things you bought. Do you know the name of the CEO of the company that made your shoes? Do you know the founder of the firm that manufactured your laptop? Probably not. You value the utility, but you don't care about the person. That's the limitation of level 2. You are a ghost in your own machine. Level 3, the legacy of scale and status. This is the billionaire tier. This is the level of the tycoon. At this stage, you aren't just building a company, you're building an empire. You're influential enough to move markets with a single tweet. You have the resources to fund space programs or rewrite the healthcare systems of entire nations. This is where most people think the ladder ends. They see the private islands and the political influence and they think, this is it. This is the top. But there's a hidden ceiling here. The legacy of a billionaire is often tied to their accumulation. And history is incredibly unkind to accumulators. We remember the people who gave or the people who changed how we think, far longer than we remember the people who simply had. Wealth is a measurement of what you took from the market in exchange for value. It is a scorecard for the past. It is not a blueprint for the future. Billionaires are often remembered for their eccentricities or their philanthropy. Level 4 is the legacy of ideas. This is the stage of the sage. This is where you stop being a person who owns things and start being a person who stands for something. Think about Marcus Aurelius. He was the most powerful man on earth, the emperor of Rome. He had more wealth and power than any modern billionaire could dream of. But we don't remember him for his gold or his conquests. We remember him because of a private diary he wrote to himself about how to be a better human being. We remember his ideas. Ideas are the only things that are truly viral across centuries. A company can be liquidated. A bank account can be seized. But an idea, once it takes root in the collective consciousness, is indestructible. At this level, your mastery isn't over a market. It's over a philosophy. You are teaching the world a new way to live, a new way to think, or a new way to see. This is why a writer like George Orwell or a thinker like Adam Smith has more legacy equity than the richest bankers of their time. They provided the software that the rest of society runs on. If you want to reach this level, you have to stop asking, how can I get more, and start asking, what can I say that will be true 1,000 years from now? But even the sage isn't at the very top. There is one final level, a level so rare that only a handful of people in each millennium ever reach it. Level 5 is the legacy of the paradigm shifter. This is the immortal. At this level, you don't just provide an idea. You fundamentally alter the trajectory of the human species. You change the what is possible. Think of the person who mastered fire. Think of Gutenberg and the printing press. Think of the anonymous individuals who developed the concept of zero or the scientific method. These people didn't just build a business or write a book. They shifted the ground beneath everyone's feet. Their names might eventually be forgotten, but their impact is woven into the very fabric of reality. You cannot imagine a world without their contribution. This is the ultimate mastery. It's not about being known. It's about being indispensable to the future. Most billionaires are busy competing for a larger slice of the existing pie. The paradigm shifter is busy baking a completely different kind of pie that the rest of the world didn't even know was an option. They aren't playing the game of business. They are playing the game of evolution. So why aren't billionaires at the top? Because wealth is often a distraction from true mastery. It's easy to get comfortable when you have everything you could ever want. It's easy to stop innovating when you're winning the current game. True legacy requires a level of sacrifice and a long-term horizon that the quarterly earnings-obsessed world of high finance can't comprehend. To reach the higher levels, you have to be willing to be misunderstood for a long time. You have to be willing to invest in things that won't pay off until you're dead. That is the paradox of legacy. The more you focus on your own gain, the smaller your footprint becomes. The more you focus on the advancement of the whole, the more permanent your mark becomes. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I'm not a billionaire and I'm definitely not the next Aristotle. How does this apply to me? It applies because every decision you make today is a vote for which level you want to live at. If you're a freelancer, are you just trying to get through the day? Or are you trying to master your craft at level 1? If you're a business owner, are you just chasing a margin? Or are you building a system that can outlast you at level 2? If you have influence, are you using it to hoard status? Or are you seeding ideas that will help people long after you're gone? Legacy isn't something that happens at the end of your life. It's a discipline you practice every morning. It's the standard you hold yourself to when no one is watching. It's the refusal to settle for the cheap dopamine of more when you could be striving for the quiet significance of better. We live in a culture that worships the billionaire, but history worships the master. Don't get the two confused. Wealth is a wonderful tool, but it's a terrible goal. Use the tools of wealth to buy yourself the time and the freedom to pursue the higher levels. Build the business so you can fund the ideas. Master the system so you can eventually break it and create something better. The world doesn't need more people who are just good at accumulating. The world needs more people who are obsessed with mastery, who are dedicated to their craft, and who are brave enough to try and shift the paradigm. Your legacy is being written right now, in the way you treat your clients, the way you lead your team, and the depth of the problems you choose to solve. Make sure you're writing a story worth reading. If you found this perspective valuable, I want you to do one thing today. Look at your current project and ask yourself which level you're playing at. And if the answer is just for the money, ask yourself what it would look like to aim one level higher. Hit the subscribe button if you want to keep diving deep into the stories and strategies that build true, lasting influence. Let's stop building for the next quarter and start building for the next century. Thanks for watching.